Hi, I'm Ron with Amazing Mile Marker Stops, and we're in Yorktown, Virginia on the Chesapeake Bay.
And it operated as a mill, grinding corn. This is a bay, tide water, and when the tide comes in, then they release the water once it gets to a certain point. And then it turns the mill this direction, and the water goes on into this section, which is called this is Poplar Creek. Now this is a real place up in Matthews County. And then when the tide goes out, then now this water will be higher than this. And so it drives the mill, or drives the water wheel opposite direction.
So we just finished visiting the Watermen's Museum. It tells the history of the waterfront life, boat building, all the things connected with water is very interesting. And if you come, you gotta ask for Bruce. See if Bruce is here, because he just has lots of stories, and he's quite the character, full of information, and it's just a really pleasure to listen to him. And so if he's here, he's a model shipbuilder. And he builds a lot of the model ships that you see in the video that are on display here.
And some that are in other museums.
Yeah, he has some displayed elsewhere. And he just does wonderful work. And just has all kinds of interesting stories about history. And so if he's here, you're lucky. And stop by and say hello to him. So Thursday nights during the warmer months, they have a free concert right here on the water. You got front row seats sitting on your boat. This is awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's nice to see you. How many married couples do we have here? Any married couples? Everybody enjoying themselves so far? Come on, I said everybody enjoying themselves so far.
We came to see the Yorktown battlefield. It's a national park, and a little disappointed. I was really looking forward to seeing the battlefield because I'm kind of a history battle buff. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but anyway, it's not really something you can see without a car. The battlefield, The drive around it, and I say drive, is 16 miles. It was that big of a battlefield, and so you really need a car to see the battlefield. We're on foot because we took the trolley here. Even if we had our bikes here, I mean, first you'd have the ride here, and then you'd have a 16-mile ride to get around the battlefield, and we're not doing that. So they had a few things inside that were interesting. Replica of a ship, part of a ship, a warship, so you could see what it was like, which was really interesting. On the inside, it was, I thought our boat was short, you know, because I'm tall. I'm always having to make sure I don't hit my head in our boat. No way I'd survive on this boat. I'd be busting my head open every day. And they had really interesting was part of a tent that was actually used by George Washington at the Battle of Yorktown, and I guess some other battles as well. It was his tent.
A big part.
And interesting history behind that tent and equipment that they had with it is that when George and Martha Washington died, they left it to their grandson, and then when he died, his only living relative, I think her name was Mary, I'm not sure on that, but she was the wife of Robert E. Lee, and so she inherited the tents. And when the Civil War broke out, Robert E. Lee and his wife fled their home, and she left the tent entrusted to her slave. When the Union troops occupied their house and the premises, the slave was concerned about the safety of the tent. She realized her importance, and so she contacted the commanding officer of the Union troops, and he took possession of them. They kept them at the patent office, I think, throughout the war, and at the end of the war, the President of the United States at that time, it wasn't right away, gave them back to the Lee family. So they are now here on display. Pretty cool. This is the Yorktown Victory Monument. It was authorized to be built shortly after the Continental Congress got word that Cornwallis had surrendered, and that thing's huge. It's dizzying to stand there and try to look up at the top of it, but it's absolutely magnificent. It's amazing and beautiful, and it's in part dedicated to the French and who helped win the battle here. So definitely something you want to stop and see. Today is Saturday, and every Saturday during the warm months anyway, I'm not sure exactly how long it spans, but they have a farmer's market here. Starts at 8, I believe it ends at noon. You can check our website, it'll have the actual hours of it. And normally the food vendors are in this field across the street from the marina, and the craft vendors and artisans are in this field right next to the water. And it's really super convenient. You can see there's Elixir, so you kind of just literally walk off your boat and right into the farmer's market. And how cool is that? I mean, you just go grocery shopping right off your boat, right? And but it's getting ready to rain off over there. You can see it. And so this is a rain or shine flea market. That's a good thing. At least you know if you come up the river to provision, get some fresh vegetables, that it's gonna happen. Doesn't matter if it rains or not. And so when it rains, what they do is they go to the first floor garage over here that's covered, and that's where they hold their flea market. It's already 8 o'clock, nobody's here, so I'm assuming because of that rain they've set up over there. Thanks. I've just been told it is over in the garage, so we're getting ready to head over that way and see what we can get. So it is in the garage, and wow, look at this thing. mess around at their farmer's market in Yorktown, I tell you that. So I'm gonna go get me some fresh vegetables, maybe some fruits, whatever I can get before it all gets bought out.
Gravel road, I've been asked to slow down. Fireplace, do you know how? Piles of paper, my desk is out. Who will care for the world now? Rest with me, close to curtains, brew some herbal tea. Reach out for me, take my hand and lead even when I disagree. Oh, how I love when it rains outside, and it's okay to slow the ride. Discover books I forget about, but who care for the world now? Rest with me, close the curtains.
Their only living relative at the time was their granddaughter. No, they left it to their son, and when he died, his only living relative, I'll get it right eventually, was that get it out of stupid gnat flying right in front of the interesting history behind the tent. And then when he died,
Visit amazing mile marker stops.